Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. After the night. I discovered the secret basement and saw Emily appear and disappear. I began to realize that it was not over, it was just beginning. The laughter, the shadows, and the haunted doll were just the doorway to a deeper, darker place, a place where reason could not reach. I went back down to the basement the next morning, this time with a headlamp, a mask, and a video camera. The air in the basement was thick with the smell of mold and rust. The stone walls were mottled with dark green mold. In the middle of the room, the stone altar was still intact, but this time I noticed the carved characters around the table legs. They were not Latin characters. I took a picture and sent it to Mr. Harris. A few hours later, he called back, his voice full of concern. It was an ancient script used in a soul-sealing ritual, a form of permanent confinement, not allowing the soul to pass on or return to the mortal world. He claimed that if the sealed wooden box in the vault was opened, the thing inside would no longer be bound. This did not concern Emily alone. It was possible that her family had accidentally awakened or nurtured an ancient spirit, residing in the object. I asked him if there was a way to seal it again. Harris was silent and then said, yes, but it would require a medium, a remnant of the spirit, such as hair, fingernails, or blood. I remembered that one time before burying the doll, I had wrapped it in an old handkerchief. I quickly ran into the storage room to find it. The handkerchief was still there, with a few strands of reddish-brown hair and a dark brown stain of dried blood. That evening, Harris and I returned to the vault to perform the second sealing ritual. He spread black salt around the stone table, placed the handkerchief in the center, and began to recarve the symbols on the wall. As I prepared, I suddenly saw something strange. A small crack in the wall had collapsed, revealing an old tin box. I took it out and opened the lid. Inside was a small, moldy diary, the cover handwritten by Emily's mother. The first few pages were almost illegible, but the middle few were legible. She recorded the terrible things that had happened in the house. Emily began to change after picking up the doll from a dump near the woods. She stopped smiling and talking, and just sat there whispering to an invisible friend named Clara. The night before the accident, Emily's mother wrote that she had stood in front of a mirror for 3 hours, repeating the same phrase over and over again. Clara said, "We can trade." Clara said she will protect me. I handed the diary to Harris. He just shook his head and said, "Clara is not a child. That was the fake name of an ancient spirit that possessed objects to lure children into trading souls. Once the child agrees, Clara will take over the body, while the real soul is trapped in a host such as a doll, a mirror, or even air." In Emily's case, she was switched. Her father discovered it too late and tried to lock Clara in this cellar. Hearing this, I felt cold all over. What I had seen, what I had heard, was not Emily. It was Clara, wearing Emily's soul like a coat, while her real self had been trapped for years in the haunted doll. Harris began the ritual. He burned the hair and blood on a handkerchief, reciting ancient words as if whispering into the darkness. The room became cold. The air seemed to freeze. Suddenly, the flame on the table flared up and turned green. At the same time, all the flashlights went out. In the darkness, I heard a giggle spreading, this time not just in my ears, but as if echoing from within my chest. I felt my legs being pulled. I fell, struggling. An icy hand grabbed my ankle. I screamed for Harris. He told me not to leave the salt circle. I tried to crawl back. The other hand let go, but then I saw, in the corner of the room, Clara appeared. Not a little girl, a pitch-black figure, eyes like two deep holes, mouth stretched from ear to ear. The smile not of a child, but of a demon wearing human skin. Harris shouted one last sentence, then threw the burning object into the center of the circle. The fire flared up, tearing the darkness apart. Clara screamed, the sound like shattering glass and metal. The room shook, the wall behind her cracked into pieces. Then all was silent. The fire went out. No more laughter, no more darkness. Clara was sealed back, but I knew a part of her was still somewhere in this house. And Emily still wasn't truly saved. Please watch episode 10, New Scars on the Body.